welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you've had a good week of trading. I kind of doubt it since it's been a down market. We're still pretty much the same as far as the market goes. It just keeps slow bleeding down. All our stocks are doing the same. So it's kind of one of those times when you're just either you're going to add two positions or you're going to just sit tight. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting tight. It's hard to watch sometimes, but it is what it is. So we got to just wait it out. Let's go ahead and just jump over to our portfolio, take a look at that, see where we're at today. And here's our portfolio, as you can see here. A lot of red there. A lot of red. We got one that managed to squeak out some green today. But we've got Moderna on top here just to track with NVAX. But you can see here, this is just it's a bad day. The Nasdaq's down 335. I can't believe the Dow's down 981. Let me check that real quick. That looks, wow, it is. So that is a bad day for the Dow for sure. Man, I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's a terrible day for the Dow. Nasdaq's having a terrible day. All of it's having a terrible day. All the way across the board, you're talking to over 2.5%. So it's a bad day. Even Bitcoin's getting knocked down. So bad day to close a bad week. So that's just bad news. And it's hard to deal with, but you just got to watch it go. So let's take a look at what's going on with NVAX. NVAX has had a very rough week. Very rough week indeed. All right, so the market's closed, and it did close down to 4% today. So, but for the week, it's really been, a down week. See here, we started up here in the 56 range. We closed in the 46 range. That's about 20%. So that's not a good week at all. Let's pull that chart up and take a look at that compared to Moderna and some others. I think we've got it compared. So kind of gets us an idea. The market's been down. Moderna's been down. So NVAX just follows. You can see here, this is, let's go to that 5-day chart. Okay, NVAX down about 20%. Moderna's down 15%. Pfizer's down 9.5%. And the Nasdaq was down almost 4%. So these are, a lot more volatile than the market is, but it's going to trend with the market to some degree. The beta's running pretty high right now, it looks like, as far as that goes. But it is what it is. There's nothing you can do but either add to your position or just hold tight. And so it's a tough time. It's a tough time. So what I like to think about when things like this are going on, because it's not the first time it's happened, is what are your options? If you sell here, you may miss the move up. It could be a great day. Some great news come out, especially with NVAX. It's sitting there waiting on the FDA approval. Still not happened yet. Matter of fact, some of the news this week was, best that I could tell, they were still waiting on some information on some manufacturing, according to the FDA. And so I did see something later that said that's some ongoing conversation that's normal. That's what an FDA guy said. So it's not like they're sitting there waiting for a big package to come across. It's just some communications. They've got open communications. They're going back and forth about some of the data, I'm sure. And so that's what the FDA is waiting on. Now, I find it odd that it's taken so long, but it is what it is. You can't fix that, and I'm sure the company's doing everything they can to get it across the line. It's a tough go, but once we get these bridges crossed, which we have in a lot of other countries, then you've got some infrastructure there, and you've got people who to go to. They know who you are, and so your company going forward's in much better shape. And that's kind of what I'm looking at with NVAX. It is compared to where this thing was a year or two ago, it's in a lot better shape than it's ever been. It's producing a product. It's selling that product. It's got approvals in all kinds of nations, and so got several things in the pipeline as well. So it's in a good shape as far as the company goes. But man, the market's broke and the stock's broke right now. So it is a tough time to watch it, especially if you're holding a few shares like me. So, but we'll just hang tough on that and everything else that we got, because you don't lose a penny until you sell your stock. Okay, you don't lose a penny until you sell. So once you sell, though, those are realized gains. I mean losses, and you've got to figure out a way to make them back. So, but if you got a good company, there's no need to bail on a good company just because the market's down and the stocks are broke. So let's go back to our portfolio. Take a look at that. Again, Novavax very disappointing. It's hard to watch, but I'm going to hang with them because I really believe in the company. They still are still projecting 4 to 5 billion in revenue this year. They've got earnings coming up next month, so hopefully we'll get news on the FDA before then, and then some good earnings numbers. Maybe that'll get it moving in the right direction. But with this market, there's no telling. There's no telling. That's the whole thing. The market's really messing everything up right now. All right, so CLSD is another one we have. It's down today. Probably been down all week as well. Let me take a look at the 5-day chart on that. Yep, we started the week there around $2, and now we're down to 160. Okay, just kind of gives you an idea what these stocks do when the market goes down. But they are going down now. Bitcoin actually had a pretty decent day or two, and then it looks like it's sold off here. But Bitcoin is something we hold as well, and we keep this on our board here just to track our HUT, which is a Bitcoin miner. But you can see Thursday this thing had gotten up to like almost 43, I think it was 42.8, and last 2 days it's down in the dirt as well. I've noticed that on Bitcoin, it seems like most of the time it's the first of the week when it has a good run or so, and then towards the weekend it starts to sell off, and then you'll see maybe a little pop on over the weekend a little bit, and then a lot of times it will sell off right before Monday morning. So let's just watch it, see if it does the same thing this week, and see if it goes up a little bit on the weekend, and then right before Monday morning we'll see if it drops. But that seems like a pattern. If you could play this one, you could really do well because it goes up and down a lot. So that's HUT, where our HUT is just beat into the ground because of Bitcoin as well. Let's take a look at the 5-day on that. You can see we had a pretty decent start to the week, and then boom, it sold off along with Bitcoin. But all these are deep red on the portfolio. They're deep red. I mean, that's what happens when you're buying it, in a market that's really cooking. And when you buy in that market, it's really cooking. If that market stops cooking, they all go down. NVTA, same story. Same story. That's red. Everything's red. That's why I've been taking my time coming on here, because, we could all sit down here and wallow in our sorrows, but it just really does no good to sit there and do that kind of thing. Tilray, same thing. Same deal with Tilray. That's about as low as I've seen it in a long, long time. I think last time it got down to like $7 or something like that, and then shot up to 67. And I think we bought on the run, which is a bad move. But sometimes you do that. Nikola, this one's the only green one we got today. This one's actually, of all of the stocks we've got right now, Novavax has had tons and tons of good news. Nikola's had tons of good news as well. They are actually producing some electric trucks now, and so that's good. When you've actually got some coming off the assembly line, you're selling them. So that's what we want to see with them. So they're heading the right direction. It may be another few years before that one gets turned around. And so what we got to really worry about there is, are they going to dilute us in the meantime, in that time frame? That's what you always have to worry about when you're waiting for a company to turn around like this, is will they dilute you by, doing a share offering and make it, putting more shares out there, and it dilutes the numbers you have. So, but if they're doing it to make the company survive, you'd rather see that happen than them just tossing in the towel. So we don't mind that sometimes, but they're trying to make a little bit of a move here. I'm sure we had a down week though. Let's take a look at that on the 5-day. Yeah, not too bad out of all of them. It really wasn't that bad. Of course, it was having a bad day today, but it had a little pop today. But look at the volume. The volume is not even but half of what it normally runs. Lithium prices skyrocket as electric vehicle demand takes off. So the demand's there, and they've just got to get going there, and they will sooner or later. But it's a red day. I had no idea that the Dow was down 900 points till I just looked. I mainly pay attention to the NASDAQ, and because most of my stocks track the NASDAQ or something, if it has a red day, my stocks are going to have a red day normally. And so that's why I usually keep an eye on it. But 900 on the Dow, almost 1,000. We hadn't seen one of those since COVID, hit. So those $1,000 days, that's a big deal. All right. Well, keep your fingers crossed that this thing will turn around here pretty soon, but not so sure about that. We'll see. Now, individual stocks can do that, and that's what I'm hoping will happen with NVAX. Even though this market's probably going to be rough the rest of the year, something like NVAX, if they get that FDA approval and they start meeting those numbers with that revenue, they might actually do some, start heading in the right direction. But they got a long ways to go, along with the rest of them. So we've got cash on the sideline that keeps us retired, so that's all good. But nothing's growing right now. Everything's shrinking, so that's not good when you're retired. So we'll just try to stop that trend here pretty soon, but it's hard to watch. But anyway, that's what happens when you play the market. You got to play the bad times with the good. It's been fun for the last, 13 years or so. And here's well, not all 13, 2007, 8, we had a little rough time there, but well, it's been about 13 years. So, but it's been a good run. So we just got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. All right. So hang in there. I know it's tough. If you got cash, this is where if you got cash that you can put to work right now, it's probably not a bad deal on maybe buying some of those indexes. If you got, a long time ahead of you, QQQ, day like today when the Dow goes down 1,000 points, you just about have to jump on something like that to add just a little bit to something like the DIA if you have that, or the SPY. But this thing could keep going, so that's, you never know. But if you're cost averaging and you got a long time frame ahead, it's never a bad time to put money in the market, up or down, but especially on the down days like this. All right. So hang in there. We'll talk to you later, and probably get on and start coming on here about every 2 weeks now until something changes, unless we get some kind of news on something like NVAX or something stock in the portfolio. We'll probably start doing this about every 2 weeks. So we'll talk to you maybe in a couple of weeks, but have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.